And it wasn't till then I realised like I needed to find something that will help me fix my inner self. And I was just locked in. When I mean I was locked in, the same way I was able to run from London to Amsterdam and with barely any training. And 20 days before that, I ran 100 km all around London. And then this is why I created this like rent paid mindset. Where did it start? And the best way to start is to start from within yourself.
And my question is always, you're so busy, you're running multiple businesses. How do you have time to pray 5 times a day?
The first thing for me.
Okay guys, so today we've got a very exciting podcast. I'm here with Yusuf Pro PT, ultra runner who ran from London to Amsterdam. Also, you might have seen him in the newspapers a couple of years ago, running topless in like -2 degrees while it's snowing in London. So as you know, anyone that follows my channel, anyone that watches my channel, I don't really like doing podcasts, but if we get someone really interesting, we're going to interview them, we're going to have a podcast, we're going to speak about them if they've got an interesting story, which Pro PT has. So great to have you here today.
Nice to see you, my brother. Appreciate the invitation.
And thanks for obviously joining us today in the studio. So let's start from your kind of, I hate doing the stories, right? In terms of who are you, what have you done? But I feel like as you've progress so quickly in life and you're always on to different things, you're always progressing at a very, very high level, operating at a high level. Let's go over kind of in bullet points where you started from, kind of like your younger days, like 14, 15, 16, and then kind of where you were like 5 years ago and kind of who you are today. And then we can kind of go into it like that.
So my name's Yusuf, as you introduced me. Born and raised in Tottenham. I grew up in a council estate. At a very early stage in my life, I got involved in a lot of crazy things that eventually led me to looking at a life sentence. I was found not guilty at court at the age of 15. I did 6 months on remand. And from there, that was probably the transition phase where I realised I had to actually channel who I was and what I was capable of doing into doing something positive. So I'll say that transition phase there, I've always been the same person. Like the person who I am today and the person I was back then, with the same mindset and the same ethos and let's just say the same formula, that's me. But for sure, like you explained in the intro, there's a lot of things I've done and I go through a transition phase. A big part of it is probably boredom. I feel like the time I spent in prison, although it was 6 months, I feel like I realised when I came out, there's no time to waste time. You know, when you've got your freedom and you've got your time taken away from you, you want to take full advantage. And especially when you grow up in a council estate with poverty and you want to make change and you want to be successful, you have to learn to quickly adapt and change, you know. And there was obviously many things that I was quite good at from a very young age that now I just utilize the same skill sets, but I just channel it into the right things, you know. So I would say that was probably like a big phase of my transition phase as a child. I went also through like a weight loss journey. So I was always quite fat and quite big from a young age, and I was comfortably fat. So like it's not like people could take the mick out of me because I was also quite violent, but I was also quite funny about it. So like if it came to like entertaining people and being a cool kid, I would be the fat cool kid. But if it came to me being like someone would try to pick on me for it, I was also quite violent. I didn't mind fighting. So at the time it was just an insecurity and I carried it with me. A lot of people at that sort of young age, they might tend to drugs, alcohol, you know, anything. For me at that young age, it was definitely crime, but also eating. So when I went to prison, I straight away realised like I need to make a change, and the first thing I did was work on my body. And
so what was sorry to cut you off there. What was prison like? So anyone that hasn't been to prison, like what was it actually
for
like
me,
in terms of, and why did you decide to change in prison, and why not before? How did it kind of get to that stage?
So at that young age, I feel like not having the right influence and the right role models, and not having like a father that was always there, you're easily influenced and you kind of want to be like what they portray to be cool. You kind of want to get involved and fit in and do that. So because I got into it so quickly, and again I got the same mindset right now where I'm quite like 100% committed, quite extreme, like just dedicated to whatever I need to accomplish, and I won't quit until it gets done. By being influenced into doing the wrong things, I end up doing crazy things. So when I went to prison, it's like my main focus there was to realize what I was doing and quickly make an adaptation and decide where I wanted to channel this mindset and this energy. And the first thing I wanted to do was work on my mind and my body. And instantly I discovered my faith at that point there. I was born and raised as a Muslim. My mum was a revert, my dad was a Muslim, but our parents never forced us into it. And it wasn't until then I realised like I needed to find something that will help me fix my inner self. And there was a lot of damage created from a young age for what I went through, that I realised that only peace and the only strength was to work on my soul, and the only thing that was feeding that was my faith and submitting to God. Then there was the physical aspect. Like, although I was that cool, violent kid who was fat and was quite comfortable in it, deep inside I wasn't. You know, no one's comfortable being fat. So I knew I had to make that change. So I dedicated that 6 months there to fully transform my body. And before that, I'd never exercised. I always used to skip PE. But then when I was in prison and being in a place where you're locked up for 22 hours and a half a day, or even 23 hours and a half a day, and you're just yourself in your cell, and you're looking for strength, you're looking to keep your mind quite sane. And you start exercising and you start feeling the dopamine that you get from exercise, and then you start setting goals and you start realizing like the more you're committing to it, the stronger you're getting, the better you're feeling. All of a sudden, everyone else around you who's in prison is struggling, especially those who are on remand. When you're on remand, you don't know if you're going to come out or not.
So when you obviously went to prison, when was that transition in terms of when you wanted to not change? Because like I said, obviously people go through transition. I don't believe anyone changes, right? But what you do is you mature, you start learning new things, you start putting your focus and energy into something else, and ultimately your attitude, your mental health, everything changes. So kind of a natural person doesn't change, but you kind of progress in life, and that's ultimately changing your personality and how you see things and do stuff, right? But when was that moment? So obviously you went to prison. When was the moment that, did you try and do the fitness side of things and everything and fail, or did you just go like cold turkey and just did it and was like, fuck this, I'm going to do this?
The first day I got arrested, I prayed.
Yeah.
But I prayed with full intention. And I made a
Had you prayed before?
Prayed, but not intentionally prayed. Prayed because like I was raised in a household with Muslim parents. But I actually prayed where I felt I had to put my trust in this now. I had to believe. And I asked in that specific prayer that if this is real, make me feel it. And I felt it instantly. So my soul felt at peace. And then that's the day I made that transition to understand where I'm going to channel myself. And I knew that this is the path I was going to take, and I had to just stay locked in. So exercising, the spiritual state and the mental state started the minute I went into that prison cell. And I just committed. And I just said to myself, this is the only way I'm going to get through this. And it worked. And every day I dived deeper and deeper and deeper, and I just started discovering a better side to myself. And I started realizing like physically I can do a lot. Although I was fat, I could push myself.
When we say fat, how fat?
140 kilograms at the time.
Okay.
And by the time I came out at 70, so I've lost in 6 months half my weight.
That's insane. That's really
like
good.
Quickly. And
was it a lot of diet, or were you just training hard every single day, or a mixture of both?
Prison food is disgusting. So barely eating, a lot of fasting, and just look. I ran from London to Amsterdam.
That's crazy though. What's that?
70 kilograms.
70 kilos in like. It just shows you how lazy a lot of people are. Because even myself sometimes with fitness, like I fixate on things. If I'm fixated on business, I'll smash out business, then I let my kind of fitness. I try and keep a routine, but my diet slips. But if I'm fixated on fitness, and I'll go through stages. But I mean, you must have been really fixated on hitting that thing, because a lot of people, they will say, oh, I'm starting a diet Monday, and they're training, and I know people that have trained for 10 years and they've looked the same. Like there's no progression, but to do that in 6 months is pretty mad.
For me, the great thing was that I went through a natural growth burst as well. You know, at like the age of like 16 to 18, most men start to get taller, or naturally we might start losing weight. So it did help. I got taller. So I would say a lot of that helped me lose weight. And I was just locked in. When I mean I was locked in, the same way I was able to run from London to Amsterdam, and with barely any training. And 20 days before that, I ran 100 km around London. That mindset and that strength comes from the day I decided to start exercising while I was inside the prison cell. The way I exercised, I was just channeling everything into those burpees, into those push-ups, into those cells workout. And there'll be time where like I'll just go hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, and it was so painful. And it was the pain and the darkness in it that brought the light eventually. But I just knew if I pushed myself, eventually something great will come out of it. And even then, I didn't know. I just dived in and just started enjoying pain. But I also discovered that I had this like extreme mindset all of a sudden that I can just tolerate anything. Like nothing fazed me, because I was also very in control.
But
and being in a place where you're not in control, like your freedom's taken away from you. The only thing you can control is your mind. So I just took advantage controlling my mind, but I couldn't control my freedom. Do you know what I mean?
No, I get it. But how do you run 100 miles with no training? I've seen you do it, all right? I know it's not shit. I've seen you do it. Everyone's seen you do it because you're documenting everything that you're doing, right? How do you do that? For anyone watching this that wants to start, like I can run probably, and I'm guessing here because I don't run, I walk, I could probably run a kilometer, all right? And I'll be out of breath. How do you go from having no proper training, like obviously you've been trained over the years, but to do that, like athletes will go through 3 months of training or something.
More than that.
How do you, exactly. How do you do that? And I understand about the mindset thing, right? But in terms of your body not having, for example, like heart attack or something, or your joint going, or I don't know, like how do you kind of get through it? Like, or how do you train for it? I know you haven't really trained for it, but how do you do it?
So when I was there in that prison cell, I just discovered it in the beast. It was insane. I could just keep going. Maybe because I was young, my body adapted a lot faster. Obviously, now my body suffers a lot more than when I was a lot younger.
Wait till you get past
I'm not
30.
that old, but my body does
Another
go
year.
through it. Yeah. Even like today, we worked out and I almost threw up. So I still suffer, I still struggle. But then, yes, my body adapted probably a lot better. But the mindset that I was locked in was, first, you have to have self-belief. That's the first thing. You have to believe in yourself. You have to want it. You have to also find pleasure in pain. And you have to know that through discomfort, that's where growth comes. And that's with everything in life. And then on top of that as well, was that I always said to myself, when the mind tells the body it's not going to quit, the body learns to adapt. And I used to live by this from when I went into prison. When the mind tells the body it's not going to quit, the body learns to adapt. So I just discovered, like, when I was pushing myself, like even just to lose all that weight in that very short period of time there, you have to put yourself through a lot of suffering. And that kind of builds calluses in your mind, in your body. And that endurance is built purely off, I had nothing to lose. I was already in a very dark place. I was looking at a life sentence. I was young. I knew, like, I can create something out of this, and eventually I can channel it. So running from London to Amsterdam, I would say that was probably a lot easier than the first stage when I was in prison of the unknown. Am I going to lose this weight? Although I believed in myself. And what is it going to take for me to be able to push myself to accomplish that? So the fact that I never gave up and I never quit when I was in prison, that's giving me all the motivation, all the confidence to now carry with me. And I use that same formula into everything I do. Like running in the snow, running 100 miles, running 100k. It was those dark days. It was the suffering, but also being very confident, you know. So for anyone who wants to start,
I just want to add on that point, because something clicked in my head as well, is when you said, basically what you said is the 100, the K is nothing compared to the dark times you had, because if you overcome that, then that is easy. And it's fully relatable, because I had a drug problem for like 5 years, 7 years. I can't even remember, because I was fucked up all the time, right? So I was basically going through a thing. So where I went to rehab a couple of times, didn't work, and then I eventually stopped. I can't even remember how. I just kind of stopped, slowed it down, and then cold turkey, right? And now whenever I come up against any problems or anything, because I got through that, it's nothing. Whatever I face, it's nothing. Because when you get through that, anyone that's had a drug problem, drug addiction, you wake up in the morning, the first thing you want to do is, depending on if you're on heroin or coke or alcohol, whatever it is, I was on coke, right? And the first thing you do when you wake up, you want to do coke. Every single day you want to do coke. That's all you're thinking about. So to overcome that and not have that kind of that addiction anymore. Whatever I face now is fucking easy.
Of course.
Like, even if I can't do something, I'll fail at something, it's still easy. I'll just continue. It's to overcome that is massive. So to overcome your situation, I understand that mindset of whatever you do, you're like, well, if I've done that, I can do this.
But also,
like, I completely relate to that.
It can be food.
Yeah.
Like for me,
I still struggle with eating shit, but yeah.
You know what I mean? It was eating food. But look how, like, sometimes you're put in certain situations where you can't really get hold of your addictions. So it kind of forces you. So there was an advantage there in prison where, like, the food was shit. I can't really get hold of much food. And I just chose to, like, use that disadvantage and to now start tackling my weaknesses.
100%.
Start tackling my inner self, my insecurities. And to realize that what then I became addicted to, which is why I'm addicted to it now, was the inner pain, the inner suffering, the utilizing the discomfort, finding discomfort as comfort. So I always live by this mindset of, like, make life uncomfortable even when life is comfortable. So when life becomes uncomfortable, you don't feel uncomfortable.
You've got to be comfortable being uncomfortable.
Do you get it?
Yeah, 100%.
But making your life uncomfortable constantly. So when life becomes uncomfortable, you just don't feel uncomfortable. You kind of become numb to it. And that usually comes from, I realize the people who do have that mindset is like, when you were put in this comfortable position, maybe from childhood trauma or life experience, but you had no choice to do something about it, you can't live a comfortable life.
Yeah.
You're constantly, even when life is going great, I just make life hard for myself. That's with everything. Even down to, like, now when I go to sleep, if I know I have to wake up early and I've got things to do, I will never sleep underneath the bed covers because I don't need to get comfortable. If I know, like, the room is hot, I'll make it very cold. If the room is cold, I'll make it very hot. I'll keep the fridge empty because if the fridge is full, for example, like, it might make me feel lazy. So everything that I can do to make my life uncomfortable usually gives me purpose. Like, even this morning we train and, you know, Spencer, he's like to me, you're going to eat? I'm like, no, I'm just going to fast. For the amount of training and calorie we burnt today, a normal person will probably fuel themselves. It's probably the right thing to do. For me, it's like, well, I've got things to accomplish and achieve there. Until I haven't accomplished it, I'm not going to feed myself.
That's pretty sick. That's pretty good. Not many people do this. Like, it's one thing obviously saying about past stuff, but you've came through that all and you're still putting yourself in uncomfortable situations.
Constantly.
That's
and it never gets easy. Trust me. No matter how much you practice. And then this is why I created this, like, rent paid mindset. And, like, I always started the day off with the rent stew.
Yeah.
And coming from
poverty,
you post
that. Yeah.
Constantly, every single day. It's like a non-negotiable. And coming from poverty is like, I remember the days where I couldn't afford to pay my rent. And I knew, like, I had to go out there. No matter what, make sure that the rent's getting paid. Yeah. That mindset and that work ethic and that strategy and that formula, now I implement with everything. Where does it start? And the best way to start is to start from within yourself. So now I've got the rent paid mindset, which is like the mindset you got to create and the physical thing you can do to put yourself in those positions so that you can then channel it into your business, into your relationships, into overcoming problems, overcoming addictions, setting goals. It's the same thing. Does that make sense?
100%.
So back to the question we said, how do someone overcome and achieve these things? If you want to do it at the level I've done it with no training, you have to suffer or gone through something.
People don't like to suffer. That's the problem with the society that we live in now. People want everything easy. They want the easy route. They want to be comfortable. And as soon as something bad happens, it's like all this shit with the fucking LGBT community and him, she, her, all the fucking pronouns. And it's like everyone wants to be comfortable. Everyone wants to be able to, you know, like even with this thing with in schools, the girls and the boys' toilet, they want to make it all one, all this bullshit. Everyone kind of trying to work out the best way to say it, but without getting banned from YouTube, it's like everyone's weak. We're a similar-ish age. I'm 33, you're 29, so we kind of grew up in roughly the same time, right? But compared to when we were growing up, is more about men and being kind of hard work and stuff. And now I feel like everyone's very relaxed. They want to take things easy. They want everything for nothing. They don't want to work hard. So like when I first started work, I was working 6 days a week. I was working 12 hours a day. I was on like £10,000 a year. I was working for an estate agency. After taxes, like £800 a month. And I was doing like 6 days 5 of them were 12-hour days. On Saturday, we worked for like 4 or 5 hours. And I was okay with that. Now you've got kids that are like 17, 18. They want 40, 50 grand a year. People want to be making 100 grand a year. And I just feel like the whole world as a general is everyone's entitled. There's a lot of entitlement. And people don't want to work hard to basically be rewarded. They always want to be comfortable.
It's like, for me, it's like people chase luck rather than hard work. Or people rely just on talent rather than discomfort. Talent only takes you to a certain level. After that, it's down to your hard work.
100%.
Eventually, someone who works hard would outwork someone who's got the talent. If someone constantly relies on luck, yes, they might become, they might get lucky.
But how do you get lucky, right? You put in a hard work and you create the opportunities, and then ultimately that generates getting lucky. But when people say if someone said, oh, you've got lucky or whatever, they haven't seen all of that hard work.
But some people are lucky in certain scenarios. Things are handed over, or, like they might have like gambled, or, do you know what I mean? That sort of the quick fix, But then you might be lucky once. If you don't know how you made it, or how you've had to, or what you've had to do to earn it, you can't repeat it. So eventually the person who works smart and hard but understands what they've had to do to achieve it, that's not luck. Does that make sense? And those are things that you can then transform into other things, which is why, like, you've been following me for a while and you've seen that I go through a lot of different phases. I do loads of different things. The reason why I probably do these changes, and I've had to think about it recently, is because I get bored very quickly. But I also like to adapt to what is trending, where's the money at, what's hot, what's working. As long as it aligns with me, I will dive into it, and usually I do accomplish it. And I know I'll never quit until I do accomplish it. So I follow the same strategy and the same formula, but I wouldn't just do something because someone else has done it, and I'll just gamble myself into it. For example, like, I've been out in Dubai now for a month, and I've looked around and people ask me, like, what are you doing in Dubai? Why are you here? Like, what have you done? Aside to, like, wanting to do like a really big challenge out here to replicate what I created in the UK and to keep that going forward and to carry in the charity work, I also came out here with an open book. Like, my background in the UK, I've created a very successful e-commerce business. I ran a fragrance business. I had a retail shop for it. I also had a personal training business for about 10 years, done really well from it. I went into like acting, then the whole influencer thing, working with brands. And I also raised a lot of money for like charity and ran campaigns and stuff like that. But those things that I've accomplished were transferable skills that I created from a kid, and I just channeled them into newer things that's hot and trending. Now that I've been out in Dubai, I've been looking at the property market and just seeing how that works. Now, I'm humble enough right now to be out here and to learn and to pretend I don't know nothing and to come out of here with an open book and to struggle and to utilize, my savings and everything I've worked hard for to start fresh. But I know within 3 to 6 months, I'll literally outwork or surpass someone who's been in it long enough.
100%.
In that such short period of time, because that's what's working right now. And my brain needs it. My brain needs to feel uncomfortable. I need to start again. I need to feel like, I'm searching for something, I'm learning, and then I'm going to execute. And then what I do eventually is, like, I use those things there and leverage off it. And in the same process, the most important thing is, like, helping people on the journey as well. Yeah.
This is what I actually, while you're on that, I want to speak about the religion side of things, because we were speaking the other day and you kind of briefly explained when we were on the phone in terms of the mindset and how it helps. And I've been in Dubai for 5 years now, and I've got a lot of friends that are Muslim. They obviously pray, they stick to, I don't fully know the religion, right, but they stick to all of the kind of praying 5 times a day, Ramadan fasting, and kind of everything that's meant to be done. And they operate at a very, very high level. And my question is always, you're so busy, you're running multiple businesses, how do you have time to pray 5 times a day? All right, how do you have time to do this? How do you have time? And they just do it, and they're operating at a higher level than me, some of them, and most other people, and they're still sticking to everything, and they're fasting. And if I don't eat, I'll just, like, I'll obviously get hungry, but then I'll get headaches, so I just kind of can't focus and a bit. So But they just do it, and it's easy because they've been doing it so long, and it's their belief. So how does Islam help you in regards to the business, the mindset, and how do you stick to it? What kind of, just for anyone that obviously sees it but they don't really fully understand it?
The first thing for me, Islam gives you purpose. And everything in life, what we're doing, we're not actually chasing happiness, we're chasing peace. And Islam brings you peace. And being a Muslim, we just submit to one creator. Now, there's 5 pillars: prayers, fasting, charity, doing your shahada, which is submitting to one creator, and believing in the prophets. And then Hajj, which is like a pilgrimage, which you do it when you're capable of doing it. You know, like you might have seen it in Saudi, there's the big mosque with a black stone, and people go there and do pilgrimage, That you have to do it once in your lifetime if you're capable of doing it. But it sounds very simple. Now, why do we pray, and what's the important things about praying? If I was to right now give you anything, was it something that you want? Make it extreme. Give me an example. Something that you want. Can even be a figure, can be money. £1 billion?
Just for the sake of the video. Yacht.
A yacht.
Yacht.
Cool. Now, if I gave you a yacht and £1 billion, what's the least you can say to me?
Thank you.
Thank you, right?
Yeah.
And if I said to you right now that I've given you a yacht and £1 billion, would you tell people that I've given it to you and I've helped you? Would you share it? You will. You'll share it. Would you share it with your family? Would you introduce me to your family? Would you introduce me to your friend? Now, if I had to see you every single day as well, would you constantly remind me what I've done for you? Would you be grateful? Would you show me gratitude?
Of course,
Of course, especially if I was your neighbour.
Yeah.
But if I say to you right now, I just want one thing from you in return. I want your eyeballs. I want your vision. Would you trade it?
No.
Who am I right now that if I gave you a yacht and £1 billion, you would do all these things. You'll thank me every day. You'll constantly remind people how great I am. You'll share it. You'll be so grateful. But I ask for just your eyesight, and you won't do that transfer, right?
Yeah.
But now God's giving you eyes, and you can't commit to your Creator and say thank you at least once a day.
Yeah.
It's deep.
Yeah, when you break it down like that, yeah.
So who am I? And this is why, as Muslim, not only do we have to thank God for all the blessings He's given us, but you realize when you discover purpose and you realize that we've been given so much, the least we can say is thank you. How can we say we're distracted? How can we say we're busy? All of this comes from God. Something like your eyes, you can't replace. You were blessed, you were given that. But we take advantage and we won't trade anything in this world for our eyesight. Now I can go into saying, give me your heart, your limbs, give me your legs. You just wouldn't trade nothing in this world. But you're so hard working and you want to work hard and you want to achieve these things. You want to run that marathon and you want to dedicate and commit your life to all these things. But you've been blessed with far more, but you can't say thank you to your Creator. So that's the first thing. Second thing is charity.
The way that you broke that down is like probably the best way, in like the deepest way. That was brilliant. Yeah.
And I heard this from someone. And I'm like to myself, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it hit me. And this is why I'm devoted and committed to my prayer.
I don't think you could have broken it down in a better way, to be honest.
It's only 5 minutes of your day. You saw before we started the podcast. First thing I said as soon as I introduced myself, I need to pray. I feel uncomfortable if I don't pray. I feel like nothing will work out in life if I don't pray. And praying also brings you gratitude. But all sinners, we make mistakes. We're going to be tested for it. Nowhere on earth do we come into this earth and we can do all this bad stuff and we won't be accountable for it. And the good, we will be rewarded. Sometimes we don't see the reward now, and God promises that there is a reward in the afterlife if you believe in God and you believe in the afterlife. And I don't believe you can come to this world and just do bad things and there's no consequences. This is why I believe there's heaven and hell. And I do believe that if there's good that you do and sometimes you don't see it right away, that there will be rewards for it. You know, sometimes we forget the good we do, but God doesn't forget anything because the angels are writing everything down. So the next thing is like a charity. Why is it so important to do charity? Now, charity in Islam is taught to us that charity will never make you poor. The more charity you do, the richer you become. And the analogy I used with you the other day is like, if you got 2 phones and you want to get a third phone, the logic is to work hard to buy the third phone.
Yeah.
Right? So you got 2 phones, work hard and you get a third one.
Mm.
The logic for Islam is like, if you got 2 phones, give one to charity, God will guarantee you give you another one. Why is that? Because you were blessed with 2, right? Why are we chasing the third one? Sometimes you don't have what it takes to earn the third one. And that was your blessing there. And that was there to test you, that you were given 2 phones. Give one up. Help someone else out. You're going to get more than 3 phones.
It's the law of attraction as well, isn't it?
You get it?
You help the world and you attract
People
things.
call it the
that
law of
comes back to
attraction. We call it just doing good, and the good will come back. And we believe that good comes from God. And sometimes we get given so much just to test what we're going to do with it. Because the reality is, maybe you didn't need 3 phones. And 2 was enough. And you're just greedy. You're caught up in this chasing and earning.
Everyone's always chasing.
Does that make sense?
No one's ever content with
There
what
you
they've
go.
got.
So that's the principle why charity works for us. Like, if I'm struggling and I know I've helped someone who's struggling in the same area as me, the minute I help that person, the gratitude and the satisfaction, the feeling I get from it brings me so much peace that it allows me to overcome what I'm overcoming. And you always remember there's someone out there going through worse than what you're going through. And that usually helps you overcome what you're going through. You know, so that's the importance of charity. Then you've got fasting. Why do we fast? Not only has science proven how much it helps and benefits your health,
100%.
but also like keeps you humble. Like, we're choosing to fast, but we know when we go back home, our fridges are full. There's places in the world right now, at least 70% of the world right now, who don't even have food. And they will never have food. And they really are suffering.
Like Syria right now, it's
so many places.
All of the food's been cut off.
In Palestine, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
and then people in the Western world just take everything for granted.
we're wasting. We're not just taking things for granted, we're wasting. We've been given so much and we waste. So that fasting phase there, not only is it cleanse for your mind and your body.
Not Syria, Palestine.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But even Syria's experiencing the same
Syria,
thing.
yeah. Syria's going through a lot at the moment.
Of course.
Yeah.
So like that pain and that suffering that these lot are going through is like, that humbles us. So that's another principle why we fast. To submit to one creator and one God, because when you read the Quran and you look at all the miracles and you look at the messenger that came on this earth 1400 years ago, the last messenger, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a man who couldn't read and write, the Quran was sent to him in different stages of his life, and different chapters came at different times. But once put together, there's nothing in the Quran right now that contradicts itself. There's nothing in the Quran right now that's been proven wrong. Everything in the Quran has been proven right.
Yeah.
It's the only religion right now, not only is it the fastest growing religion in the world, it's the only religion right now that, if you look at ethically and morally what it takes to be a good person in this world and to be a good person and to be successful, the principles and the teachings of Islam follow through.
I've seen this firsthand.
Exactly, and you explained it as you started the question. You're like, I live in Dubai and I see Islam very differently. The people who are successful, committed, these are the principles they live by.
Yeah.
So that book there was given to us as a gift. And like everything in life has a manual. Does that make sense? And everything in life has a creator. Like an iPhone has a creator. If I say to you, this just appeared, you look at me and be like, you're deluded.
Yeah.
So if this, which is like man-made, is so simple, has a creator, the world and ours as human, who are very complicated, we can't have just appeared.
Yeah.
You know? So that's a sign that there is a creator. And the proof is there, because when you look at the Quran, there's no way 1400 years ago did the Prophet Muhammad predict what we're seeing now. One of the predictions was like within the Bedouin land, which is like the Middle East, there will be buildings where back then there was no buildings, reaching skyscrapers, and they'll be competing against each other. Now, where have you witnessed that? Buildings in the Middle East reaching skyscrapers, competing against each other.
Dubai and Saudi at the moment.
1400 years ago, if I told you there will be buildings, you'd be like, you're deluded. Because people don't live in buildings, people live in tents. Desert. So where does that information come from?
What I don't know.
Where does that man get that information? The creator.
Yeah.
because you can't predict that. They say that men will look like women and women will look like men. Are we not experiencing that? Our prophet told us this 1400 years ago. Now, without technology and science right now, if he told a man back then there will be men looking at women and women looking at men, but you're deluded. Now it's like, we see transgenders everywhere. We get confused when we look at them. We're like, are you a man or a woman sometimes? That's how much technology has evolved. How did a man 1400 years ago know that? Like, you can't guess these things.
I obviously haven't read the Quran, but hearing that is pretty crazy.
It's crazy. Spoke about the depth of the ocean. Now, if I said to you right now, dive into the ocean, how deep can you swim?
I'm not good at diving.
20 meters without oxygen. And
maybe.
You need oxygen and you got to come back up. The Quran talks about the levels of the oceans that only science has discovered right now. It talks about the dark part of the ocean. Where you get information from? If you haven't got a submarine right now and technology where people have dived into it to get that information, how did a man who was like
They didn't know this till recent anyway, in terms of the technology side of things.
That was said to us back then.
So
surely you'd be like, this book here must be from the creator. Because where else are you going to get this information from?
So when did you read the Quran? Was it when you were in prison, or after prison, or?
So I'm dyslexic. I struggle to read and write. Even now when I read, I skip through. I guess words.
That's what I'm like.
I've never really committed to reading the whole Quran. Like reading it, because I don't. But listening to it, I've listened to it so many times. I've listened to it in Arabic and I've listened to it in English. The Quran has been sent to us in one language, in Arabic, but it's also been translated in every language. The Quran in Arabic, I've listened to it all. To understand it, you have to learn Arabic. I don't speak Arabic fluently, so there's aspects of element of it that I do understand. The English translation, I would say I probably read like a third or listened to like a third of it. I still haven't even completed the Quran. But the Quran is there as a manual book for us. You know? The key fundamental as a Muslim is there's two things that will make it into paradise. You know, and you need both of them to enter. You need your prayers and you need to have good character. If you pray, give charity, all that, but you haven't got good character, you won't go paradise. Does that make sense? And you can't just have good character and not pray. You know,
it's so basically the way you've broken it down is kind of how I vision it, how I've kind of seen it is it basically sets you up to be a good person, be disciplined, always do the right thing, give back, and the law of attraction where if you give, the world will basically come back and you kind of help you. So it's kind of what a lot of people want to believe, but they
don't want to accept it.
They don't want to accept it.
And that's the first question we get asked in the grave. You know, we get asked, who's your Lord? Who is the messenger? And what's your religion? You know, that's what we believe as Muslims. And then when you break it down, you look at life, you look at purpose, you look at what's going on. What's out there right now for us that we can hold on to and we can use as a manual? Like everything in life needs a manual.
Everything comes and goes.
The knowledge that you seek, someone taught you it, right? If you guess it, you're going to have to learn through a lot of mistakes, but you're getting information or signals from somewhere, right? It's information. You can't just guess it. You're not just going to make it from guessing it. You also have to use knowledge and information. It's the same thing with life. And I believe that's why it helps myself and a lot of Muslims to stay there. Again, we're not perfect. Like, Islam is perfect. As Muslims, we're not perfect. None of us are perfect.
Do you know what, mentioning on, or kind of following from that point as well, I think there's a massive misconception, and I'm going to go based on the UK, because obviously we're both from UK, is, say if one Muslim does something bad, people in the UK are very good at singling out the whole of Islam. It said all Muslims are bad, but they don't do it with other. Look at America, for example. The Christians, they've got those Christian cults, and they like sacrifice people. They do all this crazy shit. Like they're kind of extremists. But if a Christian person does something bad, they won't single out all the Christians. I think there's a massive misconception, and it opened up my eyes as well in Dubai, and you see it, and then you look at the people in the UK, you're like, what the fuck? Like, you've got good Muslims, you've got bad Muslims. You've got good Christians, you've got bad Christians. And I think the thing in the UK is they single out the whole, and the media as well, the propaganda and all this bullshit. They single out the whole, all of the Muslims, and Islam is bad. It's not. It's each person is different. You'll have good ones, you'll have bad ones, you'll have people that follow it, you have people that say they follow it and they don't follow it. And what's your kind of thoughts on that? And what would you say to anyone that kind of thinks, oh, all Muslims are bad, they're extremists and this and that? Because I've seen a side to it where they're the nicest people I've ever met. They're very good in business. They're very disciplined. They're very hardworking. And then when you hear this stuff, it's like that's not true. But a lot of people are brainwashed by the media and by their thoughts.
So the opposite force to good is bad, right? So you got God, but you also have the devil. Now, how do you feed the devil? Creating corruption, creating problems, right? Now, if you look at the two largest groups in the world, what are they? Groups, I mean, like where everything fits into the same group. What are the two largest groups in the world? So it's country, heights, genders, skin colors, everything, race, culture. What are the two largest groups right now?
White and black?
No, because you won't get a white person who's from every single country. Do you get it? Or you won't get a black person from every single country.
Muslims and Christians.
Muslim Christians.
Yeah.
Right. Now, Muslim and Christians have no problems. We have no problems. The devil worshippers, however you want to call them, the Zionists, some people call them X, Y, Z, right? The people who worship the devil. And there's a way they worship the devil because they're the people we're aware of right now who are killing innocent people. They live on bad blood and they promote evil. They promote pornography. They're involved in the sex work, the alcohol industry, everything that's bad for us. They run it and they own it. Right.
Yeah.
So this group of people here, for them to create more corruption, more problems, they're gonna create false problems within the two largest group. Why is that? Because wherever there's problem, it feeds the evil. Feeds the devil, right? So what they try to do right here is create this corruption, create this divide, because where there's solid faith, solid religion, it's hard for the world to be evil, right?
Yeah.
In every religion, every background, there's bad people. So of course they're going to target a group and say the Muslims or, now like, it doesn't work to their favor right now. And they're going to say like, the Muslims right now, X, Y, Z. But because right now, people have woken up and people are aware that it's not a race, it's an individual. Because there's individuals in every race
100%
who are also doing these things. For them to blame the race was the easiest thing to do. Now the world's woken up, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
Then what they try to do right now to create this divide, because again, it's only going to feed the evil, it's only going to feed the devil. And if you look at the people who are devoted to God, are religious people.
Yeah.
And the opposite force to God is the devil. And the devil said to cause corruption. That's how they grow. And this is everything that's bad and evil and that's making money right now is also against the Muslim religion.
Yeah.
So if everyone became Muslim, the industry that's making the most money right now will fail.
Because it's haram.
The alcohol industry, gambling, all of that. So, and the people who are in control of these things are part of that group.
Yeah.
And that's what they're making money. So that's the only way it's going to keep people consuming this stuff and falling. So if you look at the people who have committed these extreme acts, majority of them have severe drug problems, alcohol problems. They're quite mentally disturbed.
Most of the crime in America as well, it's drugs, alcohol related.
And they're feeding that.
Yeah, exactly.
And by them feeding that, it increases their wealth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about controlling the society to
and religion,
position it in their favour.
Some teaches you not to be controlled. Teach you to lead, to be a good person.
Yeah.
They don't want good. So that's the only way I can kind of explain it.
Okay, cool. So what I want to ask is, a lot of people ask about successes. What's your biggest failures? And the reason I want to ask this is because I don't believe, unless you've come from parents' money or you've been inherited or something like that, you cannot be successful without failures. That's because right. You need to understand what it takes to succeed, and you have to go through failures. That's what I believe. So what are your biggest failures?
I feel like in general, failing in life is not showing up. Not showing up is the first step to failure. Struggling and taking L's, it's not a loss. These are lessons. Does that make sense? Now, if you're not going to show up, if you're not going to make the sacrifice, if you're not willing to learn, to take the learning L and not the loss L, and see it as a loss, and you see it as, I've made a mistake, and straight away adapting or correcting what you're doing wrong, to keep following forward, that's a big part of why a lot of people, I would say, are not successful. And not having a goal. If you don't have a goal, you can't break down the strategy to achieve it. You can't gain the knowledge and information to achieve it. You can't just live life freestyling. It doesn't work. You know, you're going to make a lot of mistakes. So having a goal, and if you look at the most successful people and what makes them successful, what makes us maybe admire them or, you know, look up to them or try to learn from them, is the fact that the only reason why they're known for what they've done is because they've made a lot of mistakes. They've struggled.
Yeah.
But they've also had a goal in place and they took that step. They showed up and they made it count. And eventually you'll get there.
Yeah.
If you're consistent, if you show up, if you work through the lessons that you're taking, if you don't see an L as a loss, you will achieve something. So I feel a lot of people, they don't know what the purpose is. They want a quick fix. They rely on what they have. I feel like a big part of why a lot of people are not successful, especially for the people who are quite privileged, is like, if you've been handed something, you lose purpose, you lose understanding that. I know myself, someone who has been given something in comparison to someone who had to work for it. The person that worked for it knew how he had to get it. So if he loses it, he'll get it again. The person that had it handed over to him, that's a bigger struggle, because if he loses it, sadly, he doesn't have to.
You haven't gone through that process to be able to make it. And do you know what's funny as well? And the thing is, the question, you've explained it like perfectly.
Yeah.
But other people might, like, they might not understand, because they don't understand that mindset, that every failure, I look at it as a lesson, but I say failure because people call it failures, right? But you have to fail to be successful, because they're lessons, right? And you know, the thing that I don't understand is, I'll use an example, my recruitment company. I used to have a recruitment business. It was doing really, really well. I set up with no experience, done really well, and in the end it failed. But it was a lesson. I basically took out a loan against the company, tried to expand before Brexit, thinking all of our clients will have more jobs and stuff, and whatever. And I basically overtraded, bought too many people on, expanded the company, and had to liquidate it, right? A lot of people laughed and was like, you failed. But I'll never make the same mistake, because I learned a lesson in that. I made money from the recruitment company. It was running for a number of years. In the end, it failed, but I learned a lesson that's brought me to where I am, well, where I was, the next step, and now where I am today. Absolutely. So people seem to think that failures, they laugh at it and they call it failures. But our mindset is, you have to do that, because you wouldn't be the person you are today without that failure. Have you done any businesses or tried to do any businesses where you might have, in other people's eyes, failed?
Everything I
in
do
terms
life,
of
every day I fail. I struggle. But I make sure I push myself. Yeah. To the point where sometimes I knock myself out. Because I'm overworking or overtraining, or, you know, overcommitted to something. But eventually you get immune to it. You adapt to it. And that's what gives you the strength to keep going. You know, if you want to climb a mountain, the weather might start off with a sunny day, and all of a sudden you're overcoming. Actually, let's go back to the Amsterdam run. When I ran from London to Amsterdam, started in London, it was about 7-8 degrees. By the time it got quite dark, it went down to about 2-3 degrees. It was pissing down with rain. You know, the next day it was windy cold when we got to Amsterdam. It was like minus 13 degrees, snow, ice. There's nothing I did in the UK to train to prepare myself for that. Yeah. You know, the journey should have been straightforward. It should have been one consistent weather. The maximum we should have faced was like the weather change and like temperature. But look how, like, everything I went through in life, all the struggles and all the mistakes and all the pain I had to go through, gave me the resilience to carry on pushing myself. Whether it was rain, whether it's snow, whether it was windy, cold. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like you set yourself up in life to achieve something, but it might not go to plan. And the only way you can overcome that is those lessons and the mistakes and the losses that you would have done.
100%. It
in
never
the past.
goes to plan. That's what people think. And this is why I don't understand in business with people doing business plans 3 months, 6 months, year. How the fuck do you know what's going to happen?
Absolutely.
Do all of the basics and just be prepared that things are going to change. Have kind of the idea in your head, but don't go and do a year business plan, because I guarantee you after the first month, that's going to go out the window. You're going to be in a different direction that's going to be more positive and more kind of guided to what you want to do. So
have a goal, break down the strategy, but don't create a plan and not start.
100%.
Once you set the goal and you set strategy, start implementing it.
Yeah.
Things are going to change. You have to adapt. You only realize whether it was a good plan or not once you start.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
No, exactly.
When I meet people and they say, look, I've got a business plan, I've got this business idea, what do you think? How did you overcome this? How did you achieve that? The minute I hear a business plan and they've got these 20 pages things, I'm signed off. Who said that is how it's going to work?
Yeah.
We live in a generation right now where, we live in a generation right now where things are evolving very quickly. With AI, with social media and all of this
100%.
stuff. You got to move fast. You got to move with time. And you got to learn quickly to adapt. The goal is still the same. But how you get there, you're always going to learn by practicing.
Changes.
If you're making all these plans, by the time you finish making a plan, you're already 6 months behind.
The ones that win are the ones that take action today and the ones that move fast.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the day and age that we're in, right? You got people sitting there in 9 to 5s thinking about doing a business, and they're writing a plan and they're doing a bit of research. And then you got the ones that are like, fuck it, I'm going to start today. I'm going to fail 10 times, but I only need to get it right once.
Absolutely.
And they get it right once, and that puts them 10 steps ahead of the person that hasn't even started, 100 steps ahead of the person that hasn't even started. It's all about trying and failing until you become successful.
Absolutely.
Too many people overthinking shit. You just need to do it today. And if you fail, it's good because you've learned something. You learned not to do that. And then you build yourself up and you go again.
The best way to reflect, which is why it's so important as man to train or even woman to train, is that going to the gym, you want to bench 100 kg. If you never bench, you're never going to bench 100 kg straight away. You're going to show up every day. You're going to push that bar. Today you start 20, tomorrow might be 30. But you're going to hit a wall. When you hit that wall, your goal was to achieve 100. If you put a plan in place, but you don't start taking those steps, you'll never be able to bench 100. But when you show up every day, the mood might change of the day. That might affect how much you're pushing, but eventually you'll be able to push that 100 kg. Does that make sense?
100%. It's about consistency.
But every day, if you struggle at 30, it doesn't mean you quit now. It just means that today that's all you can do. Revisit it tomorrow. Eventually we'll go from 20 to 100.
Yeah.
But you have to put the practice in place. You can't just have a workout plan and keep staring at it, keep creating this plan, but not take the steps. And I think that's what people do in life, is that they have all this plan, but they don't want to start.
Too busy writing it down,
Absolutely.
thinking about the ideas, and by that time it's past. There's a new trend, there's a new narrative, right? So it's been great having you here today. People have definitely learned something from you. We've covered some amazing topics in a lot of detail as well. Before we finish, is there anything that you want to say to the audience? Anyone that might be struggling with fitness, with mindset, with business, anything that you think that you could think you can help people with?
Definitely, I feel like the first fundamental that I always take in life is that success starts from your prayers. So waking up in the morning and just commit to the Creator. Make your intention. Even if you don't believe in God yet, even if you don't pray, you've never prayed, just show up first thing first. When everyone's asleep, make that first sacrifice, make that commitment, put full trust in it. Eventually, many doors will open. And then from there, follow through with being disciplined, being a good person, doing a lot of charity, work hard, especially as men, it's an obligation. We have no choice. It's not easy for us. Just make it happen, make it count. And the rest of it, understand the purpose here in this life was we were brought here because of our parents. So maybe if you haven't started already, start working towards making a family. Creates more purpose. 100%. Does that make sense? Having kids. I know many people who achieved a lot don't have kids, they feel empty. At least if you're going to work hard, you're going to achieve everything, and you're going to learn a lot. You want to eventually put that into someone.
Yeah.
For me personally, myself, after everything I've accomplished in life, and everything I've been through, I want to share this with something.
Mm.
And for me, it's kids. You know, I want to love kids. I want to love something.
I think that's the ultimate purpose as well.
So don't lose that focus, you know?
Yeah.
Don't just chase. And don't think the right time is when you made it. Because trust me, the more you achieve,
you always
never
chase
made
it.
You never made it. There's always someone out there who's made it more.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Thanks so much for coming down today.
You too,
and
bro.
been a great podcast.
Thank you, bro.